Forecasting the weather takes preparation. So does buying a home. Hello, everyone. I'm meteorologist Chris Sowers, and welcome to Weichert Realtors in Washington Township, the power of yellow. Come join us and experience the full service advantage of our yellow team. Whether you're buying, selling, or refinancing, we've got everything you need under one roof. Real estate, title services, mortgages, and insurance. One team, one trusted name, one-stop shopping for all your real estate needs. Weichert Realtors in Washington Township, the bright choice. Hello! Hello! Look who we got in the house. It's Paigey.
No, it's Sky.
Oh, you got Sky, huh? So, what is that? Show everybody. Good. Show everybody what you have. And we also got Murphy in the house. Hi, Murphy. He's a good boy, Murphy. So, do mommy. Okay, we got mommy in the house too. But show everybody. All right, look. Show everybody what you have. All right, go ahead. Hold it up again. Okay, now you said that's Sky. So what show is this from?
She bounces.
What show is it from?
She bounces.
She bounces. What? Tell everybody what show it is.
Look, I'm juggling.
You're juggling. What show is this? Sky.
Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol. And Sky is your favorite one out of Paw Patrol?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's a girl, she's pink, and she flies.
And she flies.
Because she's little and she's cute.
So she's cute, she's little, she flies.
And she's pink.
And she's pink. So that's why we like her, right?
Oh, and because she bounces.
And she bounces because it's a
one
ball,
does.
right? Why don't you tell everybody, what are we doing today? What are we going to do today?
Zoo.
Look up. Look.
Zoo.
Right there. So, we have a choice today. We're either... All right, here's the agenda. Here's the agenda. You ready, Paige? It's either zoo, beach, picking up seashells, or we could do, I don't know, maybe an aquarium where we see fish. Remember we used to do that in Florida? So which one out of those three on a beautiful Thursday? You know what? 4 things. We can also go to the park and go to a playground. So we can either do that, we can do the beach, we can do the zoo, or an aquarium. Those are the 4 things, Paige. What do you want to do?
Can we do just 2 of them?
You want to do 2 of them. What are the 2 that you want to do? We can do zoo,
Aquarium.
playground.
Aquarium and playground.
Aquarium and playground. So no zoo and no beach.
We'll do those 2 tomorrow.
We'll do those 2 tomorrow. You put Daddy in the poorhouse. All right, I'll be back inside. I'll be back inside in a little bit, okay, Paige? All right, good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are having a good morning. What? Murphy will come back in. Hold on 1 second. Let me open the door. All right, so we are looking at the radar, and I'll tell you what, it's almost the same thing happened last night that happened the other day. We had thunderstorms flaring up to the west. They pushed east, and the whole thing fell apart again. A part of it lifted north, and a part of it went south, and all of a sudden here in the Philadelphia area, we got nothing. It was like a protective bubble again. So I don't know what's going on. Sometimes this happens. What I've noticed, and like I said, I've been doing this a very long time, 26 years now, a little more than a quarter century, believe it or not. And I've seen things like this happen before. Sometimes the atmosphere just reaches exhaustion. It really does. I mean, I've seen situations where, I'll never forget. I mean, we've had situations before where everything just looks prime and ready, and you couldn't have asked for a more unstable environment, and you get nothing. Sometimes the atmosphere just reaches exhaustion, and I'm wondering if we're at that point now, because, this is 2 systems in a row now that have approached from the west, and the second they close in on the Philadelphia area, they part like the Red Sea. A piece goes north and a piece goes south. Which, look, I mean, it's fine by us, right? I mean, we've had a ton of rain and a ton of storms and a ton of severe weather. We don't really need that anymore up to this point. But it is I'm just wondering if, maybe the atmosphere's reached exhaustion here a little bit and just needs a chance to recover. Now, there's another system that we're going to have to watch. All right, that one's coming in a little quicker now on Sunday. So the weekend overall, and things that we're going to talk about, things we're going to focus here: 1, the tropics; 2, the weekend; and 3, the 2026-2027 winter outlook. Just kidding. I'm not going to get into that. But I can touch. I can touch on a couple of things, for the upcoming winter season. Things that matter of fact, if you guys want me to do that, let me know in the chat. Because I can just load that up really, really quickly. And some of this stuff we can actually look at together for the first time, because I really haven't looked at anything. I've glanced at things, and I've made a couple posts here or there, but I haven't really looked at anything significant, really sat down and just said, okay, give me a half hour, give me 40 minutes, let me look at all of this and see what's going on, because it's August, you know what I mean? It's still too early, but I can do some of that if you want. All right, let's start out with, again, here's the radar. Nothing. All right, we're good. We got temperatures right now that are in 70s, okay, which is good. I'll set the radar in motion for you, and there it goes. All right, nothing going on. Again, it was a decent line out to the west, and then it was trying to fill in, and then all of a sudden a piece of energy went to the north and a piece of energy went to the south, and that was it, okay? Now, what we're getting ready to see here is the tropics are starting to heat up. So what I've done is I've taken a look at, I put it up here for you guys to see. It's the Atlantic basin here, and this is the visible satellite, and notice how we're going from like dark to white. That's the sun coming up, all right? So if you were flying that way, you would literally be flying into sunlight, all right? That's what's happening there. So what I want you to focus on, there's actually 3 systems down there. They're all in between South America and the leeward, South America and the Caribbean islands there. There's one just south of the Dominican Republic. Do you see that one? And hopefully you know. All right, let's just do it this way in case you don't know where that is. Start from left and then work your way to the right, okay? So look at the center part of the screen, all right, from left to right. See that first little blob of white right there? Boom, see it? All right, that's the first disturbance. Now work farther to the east, okay? See the second one right there in the middle? That's followed by another one right behind it, about an inch or 2 behind it, okay? Those are the 3 systems that have flared up all of a sudden. All right, so we're going to be watching them. Now, it's interesting because right now the modeling says, okay, the first one, not going to amount to anything. The second one, not going to amount to anything. The third one poses, as of now, again, this could all change, but as of now, doesn't pose much of a threat to the U.S. mainland, but it does strengthen the third. The third one does strengthen, and it could pose a threat as a hurricane to the Leeward Islands. Hi, baby. Okay, so those are the 3 systems that we're watching right now. And oh, by the way, crystal ball, remember the storm that I was kind of laughing at yesterday? Yeah, that's gone. It's not even there anymore. Gee. So here's that. All right, so here's a look at the ensemble. All right, and what this is showing you, now we're going to run it to the full length, which is going to go out the rest of the month, the model, okay? And so what you're going to see here is, again, you can see the progression, okay? So everything will travel to the west. Now, that's tropical depression, okay? Here are the chances for a tropical storm. Notice how small they are, all right? It's not, you're talking about maybe a 30 to 40% chance, okay? Now, here's the full run hurricane probability. None, all right? So from now until the end of the month, those 3 systems that I just showed you, the chances of 1 or 2 of them becoming a tropical storm are high. All right, those probabilities are 90 to 100%. Okay? The chances of it becoming a tropical storm, any one of the systems that I just showed you, are anywhere from 20 to 40%, much, much lower. And the chances of any one of them becoming a hurricane, as of now, 0. So it doesn't appear as if we're going to have too much to worry about in the Caribbean. Now, we'll see. All right, we'll see with that third one, okay? But right now, the majority of the modeling does not have much going on for the 3 of them. And part of the reason for that is because of the tremendous amount of wind shear. Here's another way to look at these systems. Focus again on the center part of your screen. You're going to see a little bit of a spin. See it? See them spinning about? But what? See as they approach the Leeward Islands? Boom, that one just vanishes. The second and the third ones completely disappear. See that? Watch. Do it again. See them spinning? Now as they move to the west, they disappear. See that? Okay? And the reason why they disappear is because of all this shear. And this is what we were talking about with the Atlantic hurricane basin this year. Because of the strong El Nino. You see that bright red in the middle and the white? And that's all wind shear. It's all winds that these tropical disturbances are up against. And these winds just rip them apart. Now, if you didn't have any wind at all down there, maybe you only had like wind shear of, I don't know, 10, 15 miles per hour. If you had anything, if you had wind speeds that light, then you'd be fine. Well, for tropical systems to strengthen. But that's not what you have. You have wind shear right now in the 30 to 50 mile per hour range in parts of that area. That'll rip every storm apart. I'll speed it up for you. See it? It's just too much shear. Way too much shear. Okay? And so that is, that's what we've been talking about for, I don't know, maybe 3 months now. That's what the El Nino does. The El Nino produces this incredible wind current, if you will, from the tropical Pacific across Central America and into the Atlantic Basin. All right? That wind is a product of the El Nino. And because of it, it's just going to, it's like I said yesterday, it's almost like a protective force field, if you will. As long as that wind is there, anything that develops in the middle of the Atlantic, even if it's a full-blown hurricane, even if it's Category 2 or Category 3, it's a monster storm moving to the west, at some point, as long as that wind's there, the hurricane's going to have to encounter that wind field. And once it comes across that wind field is going to start ripping it apart. And as long as we have that wind field just to our south like that across the Caribbean, we're probably in good hands. Now, the only way that you can, in an environment like this, because there are still ways that you can get a hit from a hurricane on the U.S. mainland, but a couple things have to happen. One, you need impeccable timing, all right? Meaning, you've got all this wind, right? Sometimes the wind will stop temporarily for a couple days, a week, or whatever, and so then you got an opening, okay? If we get into a situation, because we're moving into the peak of hurricane season now, right? The ocean temperatures are at their warmest, all right? Overall air temperatures are at their warmest this time of the year, all right? So conditions are ripe, all right? As long as you have that wind field, we're fine. But you occasionally run into a situation where that wind field will die down. A couple days, maybe a week. If you can get something, if you can time things just right and squeeze something in there, while the wind is weakened, then you can get a hit. Then the U.S. would stand a threat from a tropical system. So that can happen. Or two, the second way that you can get a hit in the U.S. mainland is if something develops, like, let me go back here. Okay, let me tighten up this view so you guys see what I'm, because this is going to be a little bit more, where's the Gulf? Okay, let me go back. So here's a look at the winds. Okay, so you see how, for example, all the winds were down. If you look towards the lower right, you can kind of see the northern edge of all that wind shear. Okay, but look in the Gulf. Look straight, smack dab in the middle of your screen. You see how it's white? It's really, really patchy, the wind that you have. This is the, I mean, look at it. It's gone. There's no shear there at all right, in the central Gulf. So if you can get something developing there in close to the U.S. mainland, which is already beyond that river of wind, if you will, then you can get a hit too. All right, but those are the only two ways in an environment like we're seeing right now. You've either got to get that wind field in the Caribbean to weaken or disappear for a window there, a time being, maybe 5 to 7 days, and then you can allow something to squeeze in, or you get something in close developing that's already beyond that wind field and just boom, kind of forms out of nowhere. They're called homegrown storms. All right, so those are the two ways in a strong El Nino like we're seeing right now that you can get a hit across the U.S. mainland. Right now, we're in good shape. A lot of systems out there, but the winds, the wind shear is ripping them all apart. So right now, we're doing good. All right, let's go over to dew points. All right, dew point temperatures, not bad. Not bad out here. We got clear skies. Nice looking morning. Dew points right now are in the mid-60s, so it's not bad. It's a little muggy. Watch what happens, though. One thing that I wanted to, this was another thing that I wanted to bring up. Boy, the modeling with almost each and every passing run now at this point shows Saturday, because remember, Saturday morning was always the jackpot day, right? Out of the next, 4 or 5 days. It was always the day that looked the coolest, always the day that looked the most comfortable, always the day that looked the brightest. And with each and every passing run now, the dew points are getting a little higher, just a little bit, but they are increasing almost every time the models update. The temperatures are getting a little bit warmer almost every time the models update. And this system that's approaching for Sunday is moving quicker and quicker and quicker. And now it looks like Sunday, it almost is starting to look like a 50-50 weekend. But let me show you what I'm talking about here. So if you remember, if you've been watching me consistently over the last few days, all right, we talked about how the dew points were going to come up a little bit today from yesterday. And they do a little bit during the afternoon. Then here comes Friday. All right, Friday's not bad. We see the look at the evening. Like I said, if you have outdoor dinner plans on Friday, good for you. I mean, it looks great. Comfortable, temperatures are nice, dew points are nice, gentle wind, really nice stuff here if you have outdoor dinner plans. Now watch Saturday. All right, here's Saturday morning. Look at that. Look what happened. Remember, we were talking about dew points for the longest time in the 50s. And now you're still in the low 60s north and west of Philadelphia, but look at New Jersey. Look at the coastal plain. Look at New Jersey and Delaware southwestward into the Chesapeake Bay and, Blue Claw Country down there and Baltimore and D.C. Look at it. Now all of a sudden we got upper 60s, low 70s. Now during the afternoon, it does try to mix down and we drop down into the low to mid 60s and even some upper 50s, all right? Briefly during the afternoon, but then look what happens Saturday night and Sunday. Look at the dark green. That's Sunday. Okay, so, and then as we look at the temperatures, here's a look at the Saturday morning lows. Now remember, all right, think about where we started this, okay? Saturday morning, 4 days ago, had temperatures in the 50s as far south as Conshohocken, as far south as King of Prussia. Parts of the Pine Barrens in the 50s. Look at the numbers now. Those same areas, King of Prussia, Conshohocken, 66. The Lehigh Valley, we were originally down to about 54. Now you're down to 63. The Pine Barrens, originally down to about 57, 58. Now you're down to 66. Poconos, originally down to 50, 51. Now you're down to 56. You see what I mean? The numbers just keep... It's nice, but it isn't what it was looking like a couple days ago. So that's Saturday morning. Here's Sunday morning. Which now, I could argue Sunday morning looks better than Saturday morning now. All right, so let's take a closer look at this. There's Saturday morning. All right, watch the colors. Ready? Watch this. There's Sunday morning. You see more yellow here now? All right, there's Saturday morning. More orangey tint. There's Sunday morning. There's more yellow now on Sunday than there is Saturday. Dang it. The problem with that is there's more humidity Sunday morning than there is Saturday morning. So at no point do we get that really good the incredible combination of the two, low humidity and low temperatures like we were seeing 4 days ago. Now again, it's not bad. It's not bad. I don't want to make you guys think that you're going to come outside and you're going to be like, it's stifling out here. It's just not that fall, cool, crisp, upstate New York Adirondacks type feel like it could have been or like the model showed 4 days ago. So, but it's not bad. But I was hoping for that kind of morning. I mean, it's only August, so that would have been a really nice treat, but it doesn't look like we're going to get it. All right, here's a look at the disturbance. Now, Saturday's good. The model is still trying to show something spotty Saturday, but I have to tell you, I think Saturday in large part is a mostly sunny day or a sunshine mix and a great day. Oh my gosh, great day on the beach. Man, the beaches look great. You're going to get a sea breeze kicking in. And you know what? Maybe Paigey does have the right idea. Maybe we hold off until Saturday to go down because with the sea breeze kicking in, the highs on the beach are probably only topping out around 77 or 78, and that's no exaggeration. It's going to be that cool and comfortable with the sea breeze. You're going to get full sunshine. Really, really nice stuff. Sunday, you get a sea breeze too down there, but the sky's a little dirtier. You're going to get a mixture of sun and clouds as opposed to full, bright sunshine. And then all eyes are going to be on this out here to the west. There's a disturbance that we've been monitoring on a jet stream that, the superhighway of storms. Remember, that's what the jet stream is. that's just racing from west to east across the northern tier. And here comes the next disturbance, and this thing just keeps moving quicker and quicker and quicker on the computer guidance. And now it's got rain as far south and east as Philadelphia by maybe 11 o'clock in the morning. All right, so the best opportunity to get outside on Saturday is all day. The best opportunity to get outside on Sunday is during the morning, because then by afternoon, look at this. You see? So maybe we'll call it a 50-50 split. You know, and look, there is the possibility that the modeling is overdoing this, sure. But right now, there's not just this model. There's a couple others that are on board with this too. So the overall thinking for the weekend right now is a 50-50 split. If you do have outdoor plans Sunday, or if you're trying to make outdoor plans Sunday, as of right now, I would try to put them during the morning hours, because in order to avoid raindrops. Because by afternoon, looks like we've got some wet weather that's pushing through. All right, what else did I have? Did I have anything else lined up? I think that's it. Let's go back over to the radar real quick. Do we see anything here? That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. If you paid attention to what that, many of you would probably sound asleep. The only reason why I know what it looked like was, well, I can look at the loop and go back, but because Murphy woke me up again. So I went and looked at the radar. But it was, you know, you had stuff out to the west, and then, you know, it's approaching, and then boom, one goes north, one goes south, and voila, we get nothing again. That was pretty incredible, quite honestly. All right, let's see who we got tuning in this morning. We've got Bill. Bill is in the house. He's heading to Cape May Courthouse today for the weekend. Nice, good for you. It's gonna be beautiful down there. Come on, Paige. She can't open. Remember to shut that door. You got so we don't get any of those bugs in. You can't. Okay, hold on. I'll be right back.
I got it.
Oh, you got it? Okay. So we've got, I don't know if you guys are seeing this, but two things that, tell everybody what we're seeing a lot of today. What are we seeing? Those spotted lanternfly. Look right there. Right. Look right there, Paige. That's the camera right there. Come here. You are so pretty. You so pretty. Two things that we're getting a lot of, all right, today, over the last couple of weeks. Those spotted lanternflies. Yeah, those spotted lanternflies,
no,
right?
No, the other type of flies that we get in the house a lot.
Oh, yeah, because you leave the door wide open? Yeah, we get a lot of flies. I agree.
Yeah.
I tell you what she does, right? So, you know, I'm doing something, or Mommy's doing something, and she'll open the door and she doesn't close it. And so now I'm left to wonder, okay, how long has the door been open? And obviously long enough so that we have a gazillion flies in the house. Paige, what do we use to kill the flies? The fly swapper, right? Did I tell you the story? I think I told you the story. So obviously it's a fly swatter, but she thought I said fly swapper, so now she calls it the fly swapper. Yes. Another spotted lanternfly? Where is he? Oh, I see him. Go get the fly swapper. No, don't touch it. I'll get it. But go ahead inside. I'll be in there in 2 minutes. 1, 2. He's not good. All right. Hold on 1 second. I got to make sure this thing doesn't get in the house. All right. Come on. You going in or not?
Yeah. I will see you to come back out here and show the back test.
Okay, I'll do that later, because right now we are live. We're talking to everybody, and
I want to go back in.
okay, well then go ahead.
But I'm afraid if I leave the door open too long, then he will come in.
Go to the door right now. Okay? Let me know when you're there. As soon as you're ready to go in, let me know. I'll come up. You ready? Here I come. This is going to be a long day. You guys need to say a prayer for me, okay? This is going to be a long day for me. Lori goes to work. She leaves here at 10:30. And she doesn't come back until 9:30 tonight. It's me and Paige all day, all night. The energy level with this kid is, you know, it's, oh my gosh, there is no break. There is no rest. It is boom, 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 boom. We get done doing one thing. Okay, what do you want to do now, Dad? We get done doing that. Okay, what do you want to do now, Dad? And meanwhile, I'm just like, can we sit on the couch? No, I want to play. Like, oh, gosh. So, prayers are welcome. Let's see. Let me go over to the chat because I was reading a couple others here. Bernadette's in the house. Shout out from Dewey Beach. Joan, how are you? I haven't been to Dewey in a long time. That's a fun little town down there in Dewey. My friends, that go to the Jersey Shore, if you've ever been to Dewey, Dewey's not bad. Dewey's a nice little area there for beachgoers. Congratulations, you've received 100 messages. Oh, that was a message from Restream on my YouTube. Okay. Good morning, Chris. What kind of fish are you getting for your... Oh, that was the other thing that I wanted. Did Paige just say that? I can't remember. So we're going to get a fish tank again. We're getting it this weekend. We figured out a place where we're going to put it. Well, here's the thing, ready? Lori doesn't want fish. So she kind of doesn't know we're getting one. And I kind of just let the rabbit out of the hat. So Lori doesn't know we're getting a fish tank. But Paige and I are going to get one. All right? So we got to figure out where we're going to put it. And we've been looking for places. And right now, we've got a finished basement. And I think I'm going to put this big tank in the basement. The only concern is, obviously, it's cooler, in the basement. So I'm wondering, am I going to have to get 2 heaters? You know what I mean? It's going to have one, but I'm wondering if I'm going to have to get another one because if the air's a lot cooler down there, I'm just figuring that I'm going to be constantly blasting this heater. The other thing was I've got an office, and I'm wondering if maybe I can put the fish tank in the office. One of the things that Lori doesn't like is you constantly hear that, the humming sound or whatever from the filter. You know what I mean? And the water, running out of the filter into the tank. You constantly hear that too, and she doesn't like that. And she thinks they smell. And she said I killed them all last time. So, but Paige really, really enjoyed it. And she really wants it again. And you guys saw how much fun I had with my fish tank before. So, we're going to get a fish tank on Saturday. If I'm doing these lives next week from a hotel room, you know what happened. I got kicked out of my house. Okay. Betty says, hi, Chris, from Blackwood. How are you, my friend? Beautiful morning in South Ocean City.
You're laughing at yourself?
I'm talking. We're going live. I'm laughing at myself.
Looks like.
Lori said it looks like you're out here laughing at yourself. Joe says, time to get the snow machine cranking. I am so ready. Brian says, are you doing salt? No, Oh, wait, you're talking about for my fish tank? I was going to just do regular fresh water. It's a lot of upkeep with the salt, and the fish are very, very expensive. And given how I tend to kill fish very easily, I'm not spending $30 on a fish and then have them die 2 days later, because that's exactly what would end up happening. Plus, I've noticed, too, I grew up with fish tanks and dogs. I had dogs all my life. I've had fish tanks all my life. And what I've noticed is a lot of the freshwater fish seem to be hardier. They're I don't know if tougher is the right word, but they're a lot more difficult to kill than the saltwater fish, for whatever the case may be, for whatever the reason may be. I don't know. Lori probably knows. Paigey probably told her. Yeah, I know, Norma. Yeah, you're probably right. It's it's just gonna be funny. All right, let's see who else we got. Oh, we got Horsham in the house. Teresa says, oh, Chris, happy wife, happy life. Just saying. I know. Well, I take her out. Look, I just take her out to dinner, right? That'll do the trick, right? I take her to a nice Italian restaurant. We'll get some wine. We'll order chicken parm. We'll have a nice big dessert. That should do it, right? We should be good if I do that. Yeah, I think so. She'll forgive me. If I take her out to a nice dinner and I get this big fish tank, she should forget everything. Let's see. Start out with the small tank first. So we're getting... that's what I'm doing. I'm doing a 20-gallon tank. I'm not going to do... Because remember the last one I had? The last one I had was like a 50-gallon tank. And so I don't want anything that big again. I'm just going to do a 20-gallon. It's, it's like a rectangle. And that's it. So I didn't realize how heavy water is. So a 20-gallon tank if I remember correctly, weighs like 170 pounds. I was like, wow, did you hear that? Those are those vulture things. The nest is right behind me. Hear it? Let's see if you can see it. He's right up here. There's a nest back there. There's like 4 of them. Really, really big. They're so big that during the day, if I'm out here trying to record videos and stuff, you know, that they fly, and the wingspan is so large, sometimes like 6, 7, 8 feet, that if they're flying over me, I'll see a shadow from the sun come right over me. I mean, they're huge, huge. Wonder if they're going to steal me. We had a fish tank because my husband loved it, not me. I'm with Lori on this one. That's what Gene says. It was located in our guest room. I could not eat flounder, salmon, even tuna fish while those fish were looking at me. Finally, it broke, and that was the end of it. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? So if you don't remember, we had when I was in my Williamstown house a couple years ago, we had an awesome fish tank. I mean, I did this thing up. I had all the crazy things. I had the glow light. I had the bubble thing coming up from the bottom. I had like a waterfall thing going in from I mean, I did this thing up. And my fish were doing great. And then a month later, they all died. Hear them? He's very talkative today. Very, very talkative today. Okay. Let's see. My older son had a fish tank before he joined the Navy and had his siblings take care of them. Well, guess what they did? And all the fish died, and I had to clean it up. So no more fishies again. Poor fish. Yeah, I know. But in my defense, okay, here's what I think I did wrong, okay? So anytime I saw any kind of dirt in that tank, I immediately would try to clean it. I would immediately try to take like a quarter of the water out and put new water in. And so I was constantly messing with everything. Here, I started reading up on it a little bit more, and you're allowed to have some of that stuff in the tank. As a matter of fact, it's actually helpful for the fish because it puts the fish in their natural environment, you know, their natural habitat. And so here I am using chemicals and stuff and trying to constantly clean this stuff. And so one day I woke up and the whole tank was cloudy. The whole thing. I mean, the water was so cloudy, I could barely see the fish. I said, what the heck's going on? So I went a couple days and I tried to let the filter do its thing. I even changed the stuff in the filter, and it just wouldn't get better. It wouldn't clear. So I went to this fish store in Blackwood, and the lady said, okay, some girl, she wasn't very old. She was probably only 19, so I should have asked for, someone a little older, not simply because the older one would have had a lot more experience, right? Than someone who's had just started working there only maybe 3 months ago. But anyway, she hands me this bottle and she just says, use this. I said, what is it? She goes, it'll clear the water right up. Well, it did, but it also killed every fish. I came downstairs the next morning and they were all floating at the top of the tank. I had like 7 or 8, and some of them were sharks. Some of them were nice, like that size. And I got to tell you, I was really upset. I almost felt like they were my babies. You know what I mean? And here I wind up killing them all. But they were alive. Those fish were alive until I put that chemical in the tank that I was told to put in there by that girl. So I don't blame me. I blame the girl. Just saying. Truth be told, I felt really, really bad though, because I had watched these fish grow from this to this, you know what I mean? I was taking care of them. I thought I was doing a good job, and then one morning they're all dead. I'm like, this stinks. I was really, really upset. Good morning from Philadelphia. Pine Barrens, Pemberton Township in the house. How are you? Chicky Schmidt. Hello there, Chicky Schmidt. You have 2 more names, too. I just don't know how to pronounce them. Chicky Zyvis Hoget Schmidt. Hogay. I hope I pronounced that. Hogay. I hope I pronounced that right. But good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. We got Havertown in the house. That's Eileen. We have Lois is in the house. Berlin, Carol's in the house. Jim says you have to maintain the pH levels in the fish tank. I thought I was doing that. I mean, I thought I was doing a good job. We got Nazareth in the house. That's Barbara. How are you, Barbara? Mary says, oh, it's a lot of work keeping up with the fish. Yes, I agree. I agree. Tina says, some of those kids don't know it's like pool stores. These young kids could care less. My pool turns pea green from a chemical a kid told me that would clear the pool up. I know. I know. Buna's in the house. Tina, believe me, I feel your pain on that. Amy's in the house. She's from Buna. We got Sheila in the house from Millville. How are you? It's so funny because when I was a kid, all right, I thought, young adult, you couldn't tell me anything. I knew everything. That's my attitude, right? And then I met someone. His name's Dave Roberts, all right? When I first got my job at Channel 6 back in the year 2000, here I am, fresh out of college, think I know everything. And I was always very polite, very respectable to anybody. But, I had that attitude, like, look, I just studied weather for 4 years. You can't tell me anything. You know what I mean? I know it all. That was the attitude I had. And then I meet Dave Roberts. And here's a guy who had been working in the Philadelphia television market forever. He knew the terrain like the back of his hand. He knew the terrain so well, he didn't even have to look at anything. It was just astonishing how wise, how intelligent this man was. And so I'll never forget one of the first things we looked at, and I've told this story before, but if you haven't heard it, I'm going to tell it again real quick because this was a lesson that I needed at the time to put me in my place, okay? So there was a winter storm coming. And AccuWeather, if you're not familiar how it works, okay, Channel 6 is with AccuWeather, right? They've been together for like 45 years or whatever it is. And so every shift, morning and night, AccuWeather will send down a forecast to the meteorologists at Channel 6. And then the meteorologists at Channel 6, like me or Cecily or Adam, we'll look at everything. Paul is the weather producer there. He's very, very smart himself, does a great job. And, we'll take it, we'll look at it. But then what we do is, we say, okay, I don't know if I like this here. I'm seeing this, and we adjust things, to more fit the Philadelphia television market, right? That's our partnership with them. AccuWeather does a great job. The forecasters over at Channel 6 do a great job. It's a very good partnership. So I jump on board. I really didn't know AccuWeather yet at the time. So, I just wasn't working with them long enough. So I get the forecast from them, and and I'm looking at computer data, and I'm looking at things, and I'm looking at this, and I'm like, oh man, we're gonna get hit with this. And so Dave says, let me look, and he starts looking at the radar in the southeast. And so the original call, and I'm not picking on anybody here. I'm not picking on AccuWeather because they do a great job, but AccuWeather wanted the bulk of this storm off the coast, because that's what the latest computer guidance was showing. And I was kind of leaning that way too with AccuWeather, because most of the guidance that we had looked at was pushing the storm a little bit farther off the coast. So Dave jumps in there and he goes, all right, let me look at this. And so we're looking at the radar together. And one thing he noticed, and I didn't even think to look at this, okay? One thing that he said to me was, look at how far back the precip is inland already versus what the modeling had. And I was like, as soon as he said that, I was like, holy cow. It was a lot further inland than what the modeling had already was showing for that particular time. He goes, this thing's going to come up. He goes, we're going to get snow. And so I said, okay. And so I started changing the wording a little bit. And I started, introducing the word snow a little bit more, saying, accumulating snow possible, blah, 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 putting it in. And Dave was like, good job. That's what we're going to go with. And sure enough, that storm hit. And from that point on, I said, whatever this man tells me, I am listening to it. Yeah, I just couldn't believe it. I could not believe how smart he was with just knowing the terrain, just knowing how, because he had seen storm after storm after storm after storm, and what the end result was. When you work in a certain area, for years, and that's why I got to be such a good forecaster for the Philadelphia area. I mean, I've worked in the Philadelphia area for 20-some years, right? So I've seen it all for the most part. But again, I was a young gun, fresh out of college, thought I knew everything. And that was a lesson that I learned. You can't beat experience, okay? And I know we kind of got off topic a little bit, but that's the frustration sometimes when you go into some of these stores. Now I'm 50 years old now, and now I've got someone telling me who's 19, 20 years old, telling me what to do. And sometimes I'll get this advice from them, and I'm like, I already know that's wrong because I've already done things a certain way before that have worked. So it's, experience is the number one thing. If one of my elders tells me something, I listen. That's how I've always been. That's how I always will be. If an elder tells me this, I listen. And that's how I wish the young ones would be too. All right? Because we're already walking down the road you're going to walk down 20 years from now. So you listen to us, okay? All right, I got to go. I got to figure out how we're going to get this day rolling, me and Paigey. I also got to figure out what we're going to do. All right, 4 things are on the agenda. An aquarium, the zoo, the beach with the seashell thing, and the playground. That's 4. Lord help me. All right. Let's see. Okay, you guys have a great day. It is Thursday evening, so I'll be back on here at 7:30 this evening. All right, you guys take care.